Hey everyone, Vince Montero here, and welcome to the final video in this six-part training series that I'm doing for sellers of all stages. So we've done a couple for beginners, a couple for intermediate, and this is the second for advanced. In the last video, I kind of dove deep into sponsored brands, and now I'm going to be diving into sponsored display. Now, again, sponsored display campaigns are a campaign type that you can only get if you are brand registered. So if you are not yet brand registered, you have to do that in order to take advantage of sponsor brand, sponsor display. So if you're not yet there, then you're not going to be able to apply some of these tactics, but you still may want to watch to gain some learnings. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into some of the content that I have for you. So number one, just explaining what sponsored display and what product targeting is. This is pretty much the main way to leverage sponsored display in Amazon is your contextual targeting. Now, this is really good at generating visibility, especially for high traffic periods like Prime Days, like we just had, or the holidays, which are coming up. Now, these are product targeting ads, which means they target product detail pages, so the actual listings, not the search results page, like I was showing you with sponsored brands and, of course, sponsored products. These are really highly visible placements, though, and they're typically under the featured offer or the buy box and under the bullets, which are very, very prominent places. And even if you're a brand new seller, these are probably really good positions that you want to see for visibility. And I will dive into Amazon. We're going to look at these really quick in real life so you can get a feel for it. Some key benefits just for this type of ad type, specific just to this. Again, not any of the other campaign types have all of these particular key benefits. So I just would like to highlight those. It allows you to target product detail pages with an ad above the fold. That's not always the case. We will take a look at the product detail page. That essentially means that a shopper might see an ad without having to scroll anywhere. That means above the fold. If you're doing any kind of deal or savings or coupon or bestseller badges, if you've got any kind of badges, it's going to show in the ad creative that you might build for this campaign type. It allows sellers to target niche product categories and refine the results by price, brand rank, and more. And I'll go into more detail about that. And lastly, it allows for customization of the creative. So besides sponsored brands, which has video creative, some lifestyle creative you can put in the top of the headline search ads, you can also do custom creative in sponsored display placements, which can be really, really powerful. So if you're not yet running sponsored display, here's some ideas to get you going about how to find those ASINs that might be converting well for you. The number one place you should be looking at is, of course, your search term reports. This is going to be where you can see maybe auto campaigns that you might be running that Amazon might find ASINs for you that might be converting. You should be running product targeting campaigns for sponsored product ads. So again, if you're not brand registered, you do have access to sponsored product ads, and they do have a product targeting version. So you should be running that and getting additional ASINs maybe from those types of campaigns. Sponsored Brands even has a product targeting campaign version. So again, if you're running these, you can kind of get some data ahead of time before doing contextual targeting. You're going to want to run category targeting and refine this based on different factors to make sure that you're competitive against other sellers that are in the same category. Now, for category targeting, I like to call this out, is always use the refine feature. Far too many times I see sellers when I'm doing audits that they just accept an entire category and they end up spending a lot of different money because they haven't refined it down to really make sure that your product is more competitive than what is seen on that product detail page. So all that means is whenever you are running a product targeting campaign, and again, I'm going to pop into Amazon to show you an example. You're going to want to go next to the target button and hit the refine button. It's not that prominent, so you could easily miss it. But once you do click that refine button, instead of just accepting an entire category, like in this example, indoor bike storage is the category that was found, you can actually tell Amazon you want to only show your ad to certain brands within prices, only at certain star ratings, or maybe even prime status if you only want to show just prime eligible people or not prime eligible shoppers. Now, all these levers really are here to help you target product detail pages of your competitors that you can actually be more competitive against. So let's take a look into Amazon because there are quite a few things besides the targeting that I wanted to show you that are really new for sponsored display. So here in Amazon, I've already done a search, and I just wanted to highlight again the sponsored display placements and again what above the fold meant. And any product detail page, you're likely to see a sponsored ad right here at the top. This is a top stripe, and it is something that you can actually get with sponsored display, contextual targeting. And so it is definitely above the fold. It's also a DSP placement as well. So it's highly coveted by sellers that are doing DSP. But again, you do have the opportunity to get that one placement called top stripe. The other two placements, again, you've got one right below the bullets. Again, a very, very powerful placement, as well as one right here below the featured offer or buy box. So that is the sponsored display contextually targeted placements. And again, this can be done by particular ASIN. So, this product here, High Peak, is probably targeting this ASIN for steady rack bike racks. And so that's why it is being shown along with these different ones who are also competing against. So don't mistake it with the product targeting for sponsored products. That's the carousels again. So if you're running sponsored product campaigns, like I was saying, you can run product targeting campaigns with sponsored products. That's here, right? And as you can tell, one of 51 pages and one of 58. Lots of competition for sponsored product targeting campaigns. You should still be running them, but obviously the clear winners when it comes to placements on product detail pages are these three positions here, again, for sponsored display. So let's pop into, again, Amazon Seller Central or the ads console, because I did want to show you, again, that refined feature, but also a couple new things that I noticed in here for creating specifically for sponsored display campaigns. So I'm not going to do anything in the top here. I have done a full rundown of campaign creation. If you want to take a look at previous videos, I did a video for creating every single campaign type. This one is in it, but there have been some updates since I took a look at that. And this includes outcome settings. This is brand new. This actually had a banner here a second ago that I clicked because it was too big, but it basically is saying, hey, you've got some options as far as like a bidding optimization algorithm. You could either optimize your campaigns for reach, page visits, or for conversions. So for reach it makes kind of sense. You're getting a lot of impressions. Page visits means just optimizing it for page visits and or conversions. So there is examples for each of these, but I really only see the benefit of doing either reach or conversions. I don't understand the benefit of doing optimization for page visits. You don't want a shopper just to visit your page. You actually want them to buy. So I would say I would always optimize for conversions. So you do have to be careful when you're creating sponsored display campaigns now. That's not what is clicked. So what is pre-filled is this optimize for page visits. So again, you're going to want to take a look at these settings when you're building these campaigns and say, no, I really want to optimize for conversions. Or maybe just say you're launching a product and you just want a lot of impressions for data. Maybe you would use this one. But I don't know if you could tell, but every time I change these settings here, we also get new settings right here. Now, again, this still says beta. And if you guys have watched any of my videos before, I tend to keep away from things that are beta. So these are really controlling this cost control is kind of giving additional filters for this bid optimization. So if I want to go with conversions, what it's basically saying is, okay, you want to go for actual for sales. So what's the cost per order that you would like to stay below? So obviously you're trusting Amazon with this particular dollar amount that you're going to put in here. And they do give you some guidelines. A higher value here might lead to more conversions because you're giving them more wiggle room. If you want to go ahead and do that, I would say look at your product cost and cut it by, or what your product sells for, and do it by a fourth. Minimum cost per order here is $5. So you couldn't even go below $5 here if you wanted to. Again, if you don't want to use this because it's still in beta, you can unclick it and just leave it at the optimized for conversions. And then you can select options below here that are going to control costs with kind of the old or the original formats. So I would stick with that until you do not see beta anymore, because when it's beta, that means they're still testing it. And who knows what that's going to do to your spend. I do want to note, again, the last video I did in advance was all about sponsored brand video. You do have the option to add video to these for sponsored display as well. So let's look at that really quickly because we were on a listing. The sponsored display video placements are generally at the bottom, so not the best placements, but still pretty powerful. So it's not the videos for this product that you can add or videos for related products. It's literally these that are right here. So similar brands on Amazon, you can see sponsored. So this is sponsored brand video, but for a sponsored display. So these are all sponsored display placements. So if you wanted to take advantage of that, again, If you've got a lot of video, like I described in the last video in this series, these are really great placements to run ads against, especially on, maybe even your own product detail page. So again, this is where you would do that. You would either just select a video or an image. And again, the image is, like I was explaining, this campaign type is one that you can actually showcase an image, and it is a lot more powerful. Now, if we look at the examples that I showed you before, I don't really think any of them were using this image. They're just using, that's being pulled in by, probably the detail page. Same with this one, same with this one. So these other competitors aren't really taking advantage of an image or like a lifestyle creative, which again are much more compelling in these positions than not. So you definitely want to take advantage of that. So I'm just going to throw in a product here so we can get additional options. And contextual targeting is what we're talking about right now. We'll talk about audiences next. But again, when you choose contextual targeting, you're automatically going to get these categories that come up. Now, one thing that I don't really like as well, these are preset things. You can see a target's already been selected for me. So similar to advertised products. Now, if you look at this dynamic segment, it's basically just saying Amazon is set. Your ads will be shown to shoppers who view the detailed pages of products that are similar to your advertised product. So it's kind of like the auto campaign match type similar products. In fact, they're probably using the same filter for this. But I've already got auto campaigns running. So I don't need this sponsored display campaign to also be doing the same thing. So for me, I just check this off, right? I want to run a category, but not this particular one. And again, I don't like it when Amazon automatically pre-fills things for you that are just going to basically run up your budgets. So they do a pretty good job of finding categories, though, that are very similar to the product that I just added. I had to add that product in order for these categories then to appear. So the closest one that I found for this particular bike rack is bike racks and stands, right? So again, if I just hit add, then I'm adding this entire category, and that's not what I want. As I was showing you before, you always want to click refine, okay? And this is where you can either decide to choose by other brands. You could even create a campaign for each different kind of brand of product you're trying to target. But the easiest thing, the most simplest thing, is to leave that alone, to keep the price or to change the price range and update the star rating. So the thing you want to keep in mind is you don't want your ad to appear on product pages where the product is cheaper than yours. This is a $169 product, right? So I don't want to be seen on a product page that's less than like maybe 150. You can do your exact price point here if you wanted to make sure you're not going to be seen on anything higher than that. But again, you can test this around, test this. I've tested this before. 150 seems to be good, but you can see I'm already dropping the number of eligible products. So the more, loose that you are with this range, it's going to update this and let you know this is how many products are going to be more eligible for you. So again, if you want to be super, super, diligent with your budget, maybe you'd want to put the exact price of your product, or you can be a little bit flexible and say, I'm going to put, $25 or more less than my product just because I want a bigger target range. And this is what we're trying to do with this refine. We're really trying to see, if I say I only want to be seen on pages that have 4 stars and above, because mine's a 5-star product, you have that competitive advantage. Let's say your product only had 3 stars, right? Then that means you'd want to change this to 3 because you don't want to be seen on product detail pages that have 4 or 5 stars, because again, that other product has the competitive advantage. So again, this is just I'm just going to add this as it is. So this is just another way to use some of the category targeting features within Amazon, but really actually refining it down. There is lots of different categories here, but again, if you don't see a good match for you, you can always do a search and put in whatever your product is, and you can drill it down and maybe find a better match than Amazon might find automatically. Another thing that you should be doing with this is never just have the category by itself. I like to actually add other ASINs as well. So it's a category and a few ASINs that you want to target. That mixture seems to do pretty well. Now, this just means you're going to have to do some keyword research or some ASIN research. And I did that in kind of the beginner video series, but I think I have a couple other tips for this as well. So again, as far as easy tips go, this is one that I think everyone should be doing on a monthly basis. Whatever your product is, whatever the main keywords are, go ahead and put that into Amazon. Sort by newest arrivals, and all the ASINs on that page are right for you to use for this type of campaign. because they really should not have any other competition. So you've got fresh product detail pages, because again, as you know, there's new sellers coming on all the time. And if they are brand new, they probably don't have a lot of ads. That gives you a competitive advantage over that particular seller. The other tip is really using Helium 10's ASIN grabber. There's a Chrome extension. Again, I went over keyword research in one of the beginner modules, but it's a free Chrome extension that you can use. And if you load up that newest arrivals, you can just use ASIN grabber to just pull all the ASINs either from that search result, or you can even pull ASINs from your product detail page. So like I was showing you on that one detail page, there's a lot of different ASINs that we're targeting in that particular page. You can also use ASIN grabber from Helium 10. It's a free Chrome extension, so you don't have, it's not a paid thing that I'm talking about, but you can also then use it to pull all the ASINs from any kind of ad that's appearing on your product detail page. So it is a good idea if you're getting targeted, maybe turn around and target them too. You might get some good conversions out of that. So next, we're going to dive into the sponsored display audience targeting. So I'm going to again pop into Amazon for this, but primarily it's another way of using sponsored display. Instead of just using contextual targeted by either category or direct ASINs, you're basically using audience segments, and they're broken up into a couple different ways. There's just Amazon audiences, which actually has 4 different targets that you can get into: views remarketing and purchases remarketing. Views remarketing simply means they viewed your product, but they didn't buy. Purchases remarketing is exactly what it sounds like. They actually made a purchase, hopefully, of your product, and it's somebody that you can then now retarget. So for Amazon audiences, again, like I said, it's broken up into 4 different ways. And these are just, again, audience segments, kind of similar to DSP, if you are familiar with that. If not, it's basically just Amazon segmenting audiences by certain behaviors. Amazon has all of our shopper behavior data. They know what we've bought, they know what we've returned, they know what's sitting on our shopping carts or in our wish lists. So they know a lot of information about us, and they can get that information and break it out into categories, which are lifestyle, interests, life events, and in market. One tip here is that once you're very familiar with it, you can kind of cross reference some of these targets to overlap how the targeting works. So you could do lifestyle, you can have a category that says baby products, and maybe you can match that with a life event, which says new parent. And again, these are actual segment titles or segment names within Amazon. To kind of give you an idea of how these work, it is always based on, again, the shopper. It's not based on what they are looking at. So in all these examples, the shopper is looking at a TV. So I apologize that might get tedious, but the shopper is looking at a TV, but Amazon knows, again, because of their purchasing behavior or browsing behavior, it knows that this person might be a college age student. So maybe they bought books, maybe they bought pens, maybe they bought school supplies. So students and professionals, collegiate age students, and academia is an actual, again, lifestyle. So this person who fits that particular lifestyle is looking for a TV, but let's say you have a backpack as that you're selling. So you can run this type of campaign, and Amazon will show your backpack in those placements that I showed you at the top, very prominent, even though this is product detail page for a TV. Same thing with interests. Again, Amazon has some interests like food and drink, activities, cooking, all based on shopper behavior. If you've got a product that's, in this example, a stainless steel pot, that might be something that might be of interest to this person. It's in this interest category, even though they are looking for a TV. Life events, as I was saying before, Amazon knows if you're buying moving boxes or moving tape, you probably recently moved. They know new parent based on shopping. So again, the shopper is looking for a TV, but if you have a baby or new baby related product, such as this, baby diaper caddy, they're going to show this ad to that person because they are in that life event category. In market, it means that people are searching, or maybe they've placed some of these types of items in their shopping cart, but they haven't necessarily purchased yet. I kind of equate it to being in the aisle at the grocery store and you're waiting to check out, but you see all these items on the side and you're like, ooh, that looks interesting. And you grab them kind of last minute. But again, there's different categories for in market, and one of them is home and garden, do it yourself tools. So if, again, the shopper is looking for a TV, they might see your gardening gloves because Amazon knows that they are in market for those types of products. So let's take a look in Amazon at this particular campaign version of this. Okay, back into the same campaign, we're just going to flip over to audiences, right? So I just went over contextual targeting and what appears here. And as soon as I click audiences, you'll see that this all changes below because it's really a completely different targeting type. So I already went over the different audience types. Again, Amazon audiences, it has the different segments that you can actually then build out: lifestyle, interest, life events, and in market. The best thing to do is just do a search. And for your particular type of product, Amazon will then let you know what search or what results there are for this type of product. You might have some lifestyle, you might have some interest like life events or in market. You're very often not going to have audiences that are going to match all four of these different segment types that Amazon has. So again, best thing to do when you want to leverage this, just search for your product and find the one that matches the most to it. Now, you'll see that these four audiences are already put in. Again, whether you're doing the contextual audiences, Amazon are automatically going to add different targets. Again, something I don't like, if you're going to run audience campaigns, you should only select audiences here in one campaign. If you're going to do remarketing campaigns or purchases remarketing campaigns, which is what's selected, that's another campaign type because it's a completely different type of audience. One is just based on shopper, activity, other things that they're buying. One is based on actually what they are purchasing or looking at in your particular exact category. So they really are different campaign types. So these two should be broken up. So if you happen to be looking at running remarketing or purchases remarketing campaigns, then these audiences are okay. Now, the only thing that you want to pay attention to is look back periods. 30 days is already preset here. But if you wanted to build these out, you could obviously, or you could change these back to 90 days. I think there's up to 120 days, depending on which one it is. And again, remarketing is shoppers who viewed your advertised product or similar products, but didn't purchase. So these are people that are maybe interested in your product, but they didn't necessarily make a purchase. So these are the ad types that kind of follow you around in Amazon. You're looking at one campaign or one type of product, you might see an ad there for something that you looked at before. So, and the purchases remarketing, again, very similar, but it's just saying reach shoppers who purchase your advertised product or related products. So this is purchases remarketing, honestly, is much more precise. It's literally saying, hey, these people have purchased either one of your products. So great for remarketing or cross-selling your other products if you have more than one product to these particular people, or they actually did buy. They didn't just view, they actually did buy a product that is similar, very similar to your product. So again, just make sure you choose the right categories and choose the right audience targets. I did do full videos on how to create all of these in a deep dive in an earlier video, but that's just giving you kind of a quick overview. Now, the creative, again, this is something that I always suggest that people do take advantage of. Otherwise, it just looks like this, right? So this is a pretty boring ad, right? Especially for this just one little single rack here. So as soon as I hit image, it should update with the latest image that's in there. So that's not, to me, not necessarily the best image. There's other images I could select, but you can see the difference between how it looks if I just have the standard campaign or add a lifestyle image. Whenever you see this image toggle, if you have lifestyle images, make sure you add it. If you don't have lifestyle images, at the very, very least, make sure that you add your logo, okay, and add a headline. So it gives a little bit more meat to the particular ad, the placement or the visibility is much more increased than, in my opinion, than just having the one little product here. But again, the image is always going to beat out the lifestyle creative. They do have these combinations where you can do lifestyle creative and the logo. I don't like that. If you're going to do a full lifestyle creative, you should just show the entire image. All right, so this is, again, some ideas for sponsored display campaigns. I did have some other items that I kind of wanted to just kind of give some tips on before we close out. All right, some additional tactics that you can take advantage of is Amazon posts. Now, if you haven't done these yet, this is not a PPC thing, but it probably will soon be. If you're running Instagram, if you have an Instagram page, you basically just take the same images that you're already doing and already creating for Instagram or Facebook, and you just plug them into your post feed. This is for a bulletproof product, bulletproof coffee product. As you can see, they've got posts. It allows shoppers to follow your brand, just like they would in Instagram. But I am mentioning this because I do expect to see ads starting to appear somewhere in these feeds. And so if you get in there early and start building up your content, you're going to be that much more effective when you actually do have when the ads potentially go live within Amazon posts. This is a super simple one, but it's something that I like to bring up just again because a lot of people do not take advantage of this. Cross selling your own products on your own product detail page. You can't see the whole entire listing here, but this is actually a bulletproof product detail page. And everything that is in their sponsored products carousel for product targeting is their other products. So if they aren't targeting their own products, there's going to be other competitors here. So it makes sense to not only cover your branded keywords, you should be the product that appears when the shopper puts your brand name. So you should have campaigns targeting your own keywords to make sure you're appearing and not a competitor, but also on your product detail page, don't forget to target your other products if you have them. If you don't, at least one. Your one other product should appear on your own product detail page, again, for a kind of a defensive positioning. Last but not least, just another idea as when it comes to the refine feature that I shared with you guys earlier. This is something that some people have found success with, and it's just called price banding. So basically, so it's multiple different campaign types taking advantage of different price ranges like I showed you before. You can add in that refine section. So you can see in this screenshot, this advertiser is targeting the same category, but at different price to give them more optimization levers. So really, it's all about just testing, seeing what price band works the best, and then obviously moving your budgets into the ones that are working the best. All right, so that ends the actual the series of 6 videos that I have done so far for the step-by-step guide for PPC sellers. Again, if you need additional help with all of this, because PPC can be quite a bit, we are here to help you. And you have the option to do a free audit from Trivium Group by clicking the link below. And again, it's 100% free. Someone from our team will audit your account for you and give you feedback on maybe some improvements that you could make or that we could help you with. I'll see you next time.